Let's talk about India's agriculture. Right in the heart of one of the world's biggest food producers, there's a huge, hidden crisis brewing. And it's not about a lack of growth. No, it's about something way more fundamental: the health of the soil that feeds over 1 billion people. Today, we're going to dig into a pretty radical plan to fix it. Okay, so let's get right into the central puzzle here. On the surface, everything in India's agricultural sector looks pretty good. I mean, it's been growing at a really healthy pace. But when you look a little closer at the thing that really matters for food security and for a farmer's income, the actual amount of crop they get from each acre, a totally different story starts to emerge. And this slide just lays it all out. On one hand, you've got this impressive 4.4% average annual growth. That's solid, right? But then you look at the other side. For key crops, things we all rely on like maize and pulses, India's yields just aren't keeping up with global averages. So yeah, the sector's getting bigger, but it's not getting more efficient. So what on earth is causing this gap? Well, the answer, according to the latest economic survey, is literally right under our feet. The problem isn't that farmers aren't working hard enough. Nope. It's a severe and frankly worsening imbalance in the health of the soil itself. To really get this, we need to talk about one key idea: the NPK ratio. Now, I know, it sounds a little technical, but stick with me, it's actually super simple. Think of it like a balanced diet for a person. We need the right mix of nutrients to be healthy, right? Well, soil is the exact same way. It needs a specific, balanced mix of 3 main things: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, or N, P, and K. And here it is. This is the smoking gun. The ideal, healthy diet for most of India's soil is a ratio of about 4 parts nitrogen to 2 parts phosphorus to 1 part potassium. But just look at the reality today. We're at almost 11 to 4 to 1. The soil is being force-fed a massive overdose of nitrogen. It's throwing the entire system out of whack, and it's actually making the soil less productive over time. So how did we get here? Why is this happening? Well, it is not an accident. It's the direct result of a government policy that's been around for decades. A subsidy makes nitrogen-based fertilizer, that's mainly urea, way, way cheaper than the other nutrients. So if you're a farmer, you're just making a rational economic choice. You're going to use more of the cheap stuff. And that has led to the massive overuse we're seeing. So to fix a problem this big, you need a pretty bold idea, right? And that's exactly what's being proposed. It's this really radical shift in thinking. The whole idea is to move the support away from the product, the fertilizer itself, and give it directly to the person, the farmer. Let's break down how this would actually work. First, you get rid of the subsidy on urea and let its price reflect its real cost. Simple. Second, you take that exact same amount of money and give it directly to farmers as cash, based on how many acres they farm. And then third, with that cash in their pocket, farmers are now empowered and incentivized to buy the specific, balanced mix of nutrients their crops actually need, not just the one that's artificially cheap. And the benefits of doing this? They create a way better system. It fixes the distorted prices so farmers start using a balanced mix. Suddenly, organic options start to look a lot more affordable. And this is crucial. It's designed to be fiscally neutral. The government isn't spending any more money, it's just redirecting it. And get this, farmers who are already efficient, or those growing crops that don't need a lot of fertilizer, well, they'd actually see their income go up. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. A policy shift this massive sounds, well, crazy complicated to pull off, right? But this is where India's huge investment in its digital infrastructure really comes into play, making this whole ambitious reform actually possible. You see, all the pieces of the puzzle are already on the board. The PM-KISN platform is already a tested system for sending cash directly to millions of farmers. Aadhaar, the national ID system, already links fertilizer sales to specific people, and the government's own tracking system follows the supply chain in real time. So the digital backbone is there. And listen, this won't be some kind of sledgehammer, one-size-fits-all approach. Far from it. The plan is designed to be smart and calibrated. The cash transfers would be adjusted for different regions, because obviously a farmer growing rice needs different support than a farmer growing pulses, and it would all be rolled out in phases, starting in pilot regions to test and tweak the system before taking it nationwide. Okay, so let's just zoom out for a second, because this reform, it isn't just a technical fix for fertilizer prices. It really represents a profound shift in the entire vision for the future of farming in India. The whole philosophy boils down to this one key strategic shift, moving away from a mindset of just dumping more and more stuff on the land, that's volume-driven use, and moving toward a smarter, more precise approach that focuses on getting the most growth from every single nutrient. In other words, efficiency-driven growth. And there's this quote from the survey that just nails it. It says, the goal is to go from administrative control to biological optimization. For decades, the policy was about top-down control of prices. This new vision is about empowering farmers to work with nature, to optimize the biology of their own soil. So at the end of the day, why does all of this matter so much? Because healthier soil means higher, more stable yields. It means crops that are tougher and more resilient to climate shocks like droughts. It means more stable incomes for millions of farming families. And ultimately, it unlocks a future where Indian agriculture isn't just productive, but truly sustainable for the long haul. It leaves us with a pretty powerful question to think about. On the surface, this is a story about fertilizer, but it's really about changing an entire system. It shows how redesigning just one single flawed incentive could start a chain reaction, healing the land and creating a more prosperous and resilient future for one of the most important parts of India's economy.